It seems that everywhere you go, fashion surrounds you, whether it's advertisements for clothing and makeup, a billboard, the cover of a magazine, or virtually anything featuring a model. They're there to make us think, I want to look like that. These images provide us with the idea of what makes a perfect person. If you wear this color lipstick and this kind of dress, which hangs perfectly on this kind of figure, you're considered beautiful. The fashion industry has been doing this for ages, but over time it has increasingly raised issues about confidence, self-esteem, and body image. The evidence is all there, but who provides and studies this evidence? It sounds like the job of a psychologist.
Psychology of fashion is really about human behavior within and across the fashion industry. It's about the industry, it's about sustainability, it's about production, it's about management, it's about retail. It includes consumer behavior.
Dr. Carolyn Mayer is a chartered scientist and psychologist, associate fellow at the British Ecological Society, and a reader at the London College of Fashion. She also developed 2 master's programs for the college, both in the psychology of fashion. Her day is a juggling act of public engagements, writing papers, and conducting research. But Mayer's programs are priority, and for good reason.
A lot of my work is involved with the students, so developing them, getting them to really understand, the mission of the course, the ethos of the course, but also their mission on being graduates from the course, and that is to go out and make a difference.
In order to make a difference, Mayer and her students address the issues in the fashion industry, such as the economic and ecological effects they cause by growing so much cotton for clothes and by manufacturing so many items.
The overproduction of cotton is affecting the environment, and if we look at Eastern Europe, Kazakhstan, there is a sea called the Aral Sea, Aral, which used to be one of the world's largest inland lakes. And over the last probably 40 years, anyway, it's shrunk to about 1/10 of its original size, and it's now called a desert. We have landfill site problems, the people disposing of their clothes, just buying too much because it's cheap, and just actually never wearing it, then chucking it out or taking it to charity shops. It all goes to Africa to help, in inverted commas, poor townships in Africa and so on. But the problem is that when the clothing goes to these areas, these regions, it stops the fashion industry within those regions. So it stops the, potential for industry to develop in those areas because they have this glut of clothing coming in. Ideally, we should buy less. We should buy better, and by less, we should shop carefully.
But raising awareness on these issues is only step one. Making a change relies completely on the support and involvement of other community members.
But what we have to do next is we have to put in some interventions that make a difference, because we've done enough raising awareness. We need to make the consumer change. Young people are the people who need to go out and make these changes, make their voices known and say, we're not buying this.
Although young people are the ones who can make a change, they're not the only ones who need change. When it comes to styles made for older women, designers often get it wrong. Through many studies, Mayer has found that older women are less interested in looking younger, like advertisements suggest, and more interested in looking good, healthy, and feeling confident. When it comes to clothing, this may be hard to achieve.
There are very, very few designers who cater for older women. We sometimes have images of older models wearing clothes that are supposedly suitable for a woman of a particular age. But that in itself is problematic because the models tend to be very stereotypically tall, thin, like the young ones, and also have very long naturally grey hair. They're not representative of the sample of the population that they're supposed to represent. And this causes a problem for older women in general because as women, as men, as we get older, our bodies change and we still want to look good, but we can't wear crop tops. We just can't wear that even if we want to, but we want to look good, we want to look fashionable. And finding those kind of clothes out there is very difficult, particularly if you're not, very tall and very slim. They want to look good. They want to wear clothes that make them feel good. They feel confident in that when they've got whatever outfit that they've chosen to wear, that they don't look frumpy, they don't look old-fashioned, they don't look matronly, they want to look good, they want to look appropriate for the context they're in.
While women over 45 are misrepresented in their fashion style, women of all ages are misrepresented in a different way: pants size. While men's pants are sized by their actual measurements, women's pants are sized by numbers as low as the single digits, which can vary from store to store.
I think it's about feeding our vanity because of this obsession with being thin, so we'd much rather see ourselves as a size 2 than a size 6. That also can cause problems because in some stores they vary, and so it can be quite stressful for a lot of women who have low body satisfaction, who believe they are a size, let's say a US size 8, and then they go in another store, and it's typically the more expensive is the lower the numbers, and I think that encourages consumers to go back and buy more from that because it makes them feel good. If they believe that being thin is good, then they will go back to where they can get into a size 2 rather than thinking this is just a number on an item of clothing.
But these numbers can do quite a number on us. One of Mayer's students found that these varying sizes can draw our attention away from more important issues.
Her main concern with this was the worry that if people put on weight, but they keep trying to find lower and lower sizes, they might miss the indicators that their health is at risk. Her argument was that if we're always getting into lower and lower numbers, an indicator of potential heart disease, cardiovascular disease, is your waist size. So if you're thinking that you're still very small, but in fact your waist is growing in size in comparison to your hips, but it's not being related to the fact that you've got to buy a larger size in clothes, you might be fooling yourself, even though these people could be aware that they are putting on weight, and they might miss, the health indicators that they need to stop putting on weight.
Vanity sizing can be both physically and mentally damaging. But what gets us to the point of low confidence and self-esteem are the images in fashion, such as the models chosen for advertisements. Mayer says that one of the most important parts of fashion psychology is facing the industry and telling them that they need to represent the population as we are.
This single ideal of what's perfect is really damaging for everyone, because even the images that they have out there are airbrushed, and that's not what the models look like in real life. You need to think about these damaging images that you keep presenting and represent populations as they are. The diversity, the beauty of everybody. Everybody has something beautiful about them to value and respect, and not say we all have to end up looking the same.
And contrary to popular belief, these images don't just affect women.
Men are becoming more and more interested in fashion and looking nice, the blending of what's male and female, for example, androgynous fashion, so this idea of really that men can be as well-dressed and as glamorous as women can be. And so there's a definite surge in menswear. I believe it was one of the biggest growing areas in fashion last year. Men are becoming more and more obsessed with how they look, as women are now, and the gym body, where the fashion is now, rather than being a size 00, is to be very lean and muscly for men and women. So we have all the issues around body dissatisfaction, eating disorders, mental health issues around appearance, that people are not matching up to what is promoted constantly as a norm about how we should look. A norm of having this very thin, very fit, very young ideal of how we should be affects both men and women similarly, increasingly men.
Dr. Carolyn Mayer is currently writing the book The Psychology of Fashion, which discusses the industry and how psychology can make it more ethical, sustainable, and responsible. You can read more about her on the London College of Fashion's teaching staff and staff researchers' profiles, and on her website, casweb.info. For more information about all of our guests, log on to our site at viewpointsonline.net. You can find archives of past programs there and on iTunes and Stitcher. Our show is written and produced by Pat Reuter and Emily Parker. Our production directors are Sean Waldron and Reed Pence. I'm Marty Peterson.
Viewpoints returns in just a moment.
Access to a bank account is critical for managing daily money needs, paying bills, and getting paid. But more than 8 million households in the U.S. lack access to one. That's why Chase has introduced Chase Secure Banking, a new low-fee bank account with no overdraft fees and all the benefits of banking. Here's Chase financial health expert Alice Rodriguez.
Access to a bank account is an important step in building financial health. Some consumers may be paying hundreds a year in alternative services like check cashing or money orders, and secure banking gives them the option to make the most of their hard-earned money.
Chase Secure Banking has a low monthly fee of $4.95 and provides a debit card you can use nearly everywhere cards are accepted. In addition to electronic payments, free full access to Chase branches and ATMs, the Chase mobile app, full support from bankers in person, and no overdraft fees. Find out more at chase.com/securebanking.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Fierce Nakawati with principal office in Dallas, Texas. Attention landscapers and anyone working in the landscape industry. This is an important alert for users of the weed killer Roundup that have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. A California jury recently awarded $289 million to a landscaper who claimed Roundup gave him cancer. Roundup is the most widely used herbicide in the United States with billions of pounds applied each year. Farm workers and landscapers are at the highest risk of injury from exposure. Time is limited to file a claim. If you work with Roundup weed killer and were diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, don't wait. Call the Roundup Legal Helpline now. The number to dial is 800-208-0501. That number again is 800-208-0501. You could be entitled to significant compensation. If you've been exposed to Roundup and have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, don't wait. Call the Roundup Legal Helpline right now. 800-208-0501. That's 800-208-0501. Again, 800-208-0501. Call now.
And that's Viewpoints for this week. Viewpoints is a production of Media Tracks Communications. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook to learn about upcoming shows and find a library of past programs on iTunes. Plus, you'll always find podcasts of our segments and information about our guests at viewpointsonline.net. Join us again next week for your public affairs magazine, Viewpoints.